Hey, what's up, guys? It's Sports Splits here, and we're back with another 2022 NFL record prediction. So today we have the Kansas City Chiefs, the last of our AFC West predictions. So this is going to be an interesting one. I kind of did a quick review over the depth chart before, getting into this. And I mean, I'll review it a little bit more in the video, but kind of what I took from it is they've got a lot of very, very good starters, but they don't have depth at any position. So let's go ahead and dive into it a little bit more in depth. So starting with quarterback, I mean, obviously Patrick Mahomes, I think he's the best quarterback in the league. But I mean, if he were to get injured, this entire team is screwed. Okay? Plain and simple. Mahomes is the Chiefs right now. So, yeah, it's I don't think they would do much with Chad Henne or Shane Buechele. So, then going to running back, they've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire as well as Ronald Jones and Derek Gore. Now, I think Ronald Jones is a really solid number 2 running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is pretty solid. I mean, not incredible, but pretty solid. So I'm not in love with the running back position there, but it's not terrible. Okay, it's not the worst in the league. Going to wide receivers, they've got Juju, Mecole Hardman, Marquez Valdes-Scantling starting. I am interested to see how Juju will do here. I don't think he's going to be, Tyreek Hill level, but I think he's gonna have a good season. I do. But then behind them, they've got Sky Moore, Josh Gordon, Justin Ross, as well as Omar Bayless, who was actually with the Panthers for a while. Well, I say a while, it's really just a season. He looked pretty dang good in the preseason, if you ask me. I think he has really good potential. He just needs to... Honestly, he just needs to get faster. I mean, he's got good hands. But yeah. So overall, they've got some good depth at wide receivers. That's one of their positions that they do have some capable guys there. They don't really have a star receiver anymore, but they've got depth. And I think Sky Moore is a guy that could very well become that star for the Chiefs. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year we're talking about Sky Moore as their number 1 receiver. Justin Ross could also be really, really good for them. So I do like their receiver depth, sorry. Tight end, they got Travis Kelce, and I personally think Noah Gray is better than Blake Bell, but they've got some solid tight end depth. Travis Kelce's the best tight end in the league, so that's probably going to be Patrick Mahomes' number 1 receiving option in general. So fantasy owners, definitely pick up Kelce. Going to the offensive line, this is kind of questionable. So I love their starting offensive line. Okay, I will say that right off the bat. I love their starters. One of the best O-lines in the league. But I don't like their depth at all. I think Darian Kinnard, the rookie pickup, is going to be, pretty solid if one of their guards were to get hurt. But other than that, I'm not in love with their depth. They do have Austin Reeder as their 3rd string center, which I think he should be above Darrell Williams, but he's not great either. So yeah, that's kind of worrisome because offensive line injuries are pretty common. So if one of those guys were to get injured, they don't have a lot of depth. So going to the defense, there's really only one position here that I like the depth at, and that's middle linebacker. I really like Leo Chenal, which I think he could really sub in at any of the linebacker spots if any of those guys were to get injured. But still, that's really the only like backup on defense that I really like. So again, really good defense. I just if they get injuries, they're screwed. So they've got George Karlaftis. I think he's going to be pretty solid, as well as Frank Clark, who I think he'll have a decent year. I mean, he's not really as good as he used to be, but he'll have a decent year. Chris Jones is still a really, really good D tackle. Derek Nottie is pretty dang good. Then they've got Nick Bolton, who I really like. He's coming into I think it's his second year. I believe he was a rookie last year, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, he's a really good linebacker, as well as Willie Gay, another young linebacker who made big strides last year, and I think is going to look even better this year. But then Jermaine Carter, he has really, really, he's a really underrated linebacker. Okay, he's got good instincts. Hard hitter, good tackler. I think in a system like the Chiefs, I think they'll be able to form him into a much more capable linebacker than he was with the Panthers. But he is a very underrated guy in my opinion. But keep that in mind, I'm not saying he's a star. So don't get your hopes up to be, like a Bobby Wagner type of guy. But then going to the secondary, they've got Trent McDuffie, who I really liked in the draft, as well as L'Jarius Sneed, who is also very good. Safeties, they've got Justin Reed and Juan Thornhill. Pretty solid there, but I mean, it's still a downgrade after losing Tyrann Mathieu. But I do think both of those guys are also better than Daniel Sorensen, so that kind of evens it out a little bit. So I do like their secondary, but again, I'm not a fan of their depth at all. This is a team that if they get any injuries, it's going to be tough. It is going to be very, very tough for them. So keep that in mind during this record prediction. Not amazing depth. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the prediction. So right off the bat, you're going to see that they already have selected a 3-3 record. That's going to be their conference record. So for the AFC West, it's really hard to tell. Okay, I've explained this in all of my AFC West prediction videos. This is an insanely stacked division, okay? Best division in football this year. I could not for the life of me think about if any of these teams are going to sweep another divisional rival or get swept. Like, I very, very much think it's possible that each of these teams in this division beat and lose to all of the other teams in the division. For instance, Chiefs are going to split with the Chargers, split with the Raiders, split with the Broncos. Chargers split with the Chiefs, split with the Raiders, split with the Broncos. Broncos split with the Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders, and so on. I could not, for the life of me, think about, who's going to sweep who's going to get swept. It's just, this is way too tough of a division. I think if anything were to happen in terms of sweeping, I think the most likely would be either the Chiefs sweeping the Broncos or the Raiders sweeping the Chiefs, just because the Raiders always play the Chiefs really, really well. But again, we're just going to keep the record or the division records there at 3-3. So let's go ahead and get on into the actual prediction. I'm just going to say Cardinals fans probably going to hate me. I mean, this is actually going to make them be 0-4 in this division. Okay. I am not high on the Cardinals this year. I think their defense is going to take a big step down from last year. I don't think Kyler Murray is mature enough to really become an elite quarterback. I think he might be a little bit overrated, even despite, them giving him all the weapons in the world. I don't think the Cardinals are really that great of a team. I think they're kind of like an 8 or 9 win team. So, yeah, Cardinals not incredible this year. So jumping over to week 3, because I already talked about the divisional games. We got the Chiefs at the Colts. This is going to be a really tough one. Colts are a very, very good team. In fact, really, the Chiefs have a brutal first half of the season. I mean, Cardinals, Chargers, Colts, Bucks, Raiders, Bills, 49ers. That's a brutal first half. So, it's going to be tough. I'm sorry, but because the Chiefs don't have insane depth, I have a hard time expecting them to beat the Colts or really the Bucks. I'm sorry, I know this isn't what Chiefs fans want to hear. I know I'm going to get roasted in the comments, but then we have the Bills at the Chiefs. This is going to be a fun game. They had some, like that playoff game where it went into overtime, and it was an absolute shootout, really, between these two teams. Like, it was insane. Both of these teams, though, I feel like really improved their secondaries. It's really hard to predict who's going to win here. I see in both teams a struggling run game. I think I'll go ahead and give this to the Chiefs, but I'm not like super confident in it. That's going to be a tough game. Week 7, we have the Chiefs at the 49ers. 49ers, I think, are going to be really good at running the ball again this year. They're definitely a run-first team. I haven't heard great things this offseason about Trey Lance, so I don't really know what to expect from him this year. Though they do have a really good coaching staff, I think they're going to really rely on the run game, and I think that's going to be tough for the Chiefs to stop, especially where they don't have really like any defensive line depth. I mean, I think I'm going to go ahead and give this one to the 49ers. It's so hard giving the Chiefs this many losses, but I mean, I don't think they're as good of a team as they were last year or the year before. And their schedule is brutal. But coming off after the bye, I think they're going to beat the Titans. They're going to wall up the Jags. But then week 12, they've got the Rams. And I have a hard time. Well, I don't know. I can't really predict the Rams to go undefeated either, though. Plus, Aaron Donald is still apparently considering retirement. So that's another tough one. You know what? I don't think the Rams are going to sweep the AFC West. I'm going to go ahead and give this one to the Chiefs. However, I think the Bengals are going to be just as good, if not maybe better than last year. And I think Ja'Marr Chase is going to have another crazy good game against the Chiefs. I'm going to go ahead and go Bengals here. But then they beat the Texans, and then they beat the Seahawks. But then beat the Broncos, and then lose to the Raiders. So overall, that gives them a 10-7 record. Chiefs fans, I know this isn't what you want to hear. Still a winning record. I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to beat out the Broncos for, third in that division. Again, as I've said multiple times, I wouldn't be surprised if any one of these four teams in this division win the division. I expect there to be at least three teams from this division in the playoffs. In fact, all four teams in this division are good enough that they could all make the playoffs. There could be the divisional winner, and it's possible that the other three all make it as a wild card. Not saying it'll necessarily happen, but it's not impossible. So, again, sorry, Chiefs fans. I know you're not, stoked about this record. I'm not ruling out the possibility of you sweeping one of the divisional teams, or even beating the Colts. But they've got a brutally tough schedule, and that makes it really hard to give them, a crazy good record this year, especially after losing someone like Tyreek Hill and Tyrann Mathieu. So, but anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you thought of this record prediction. Try not to roast me too hard, okay? I'm not going to predict every single team to get 12 wins, okay? I can't do it. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Again, smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.